Good morning and welcome to week 11. This week we are focusing on strategies for comprehension. So I've got a couple of online activities for you to take a look at. You'll also see that lesson 3 is due, and hopefully you have already delivered lesson 3 and you're well on your way to completing your assignment for this course, your SEA. You've got a couple of weeks left to make sure that all is accomplished. So, looking at our resources for this week, there are some very interesting ones. I'd like to particularly call your attention to English language learners and the power of personal stories. I think that's a very, very important area, as well as the resource that I've shared with you. And you can see when you click on that resource that this is from the New York Times, but it is a special section or area of the New York Times that you may not normally take a look at. Now, obviously for the New York Times as a whole, you would need to subscribe. However, this is not your traditional New York Times daily newspaper. Rather, this is the teaching and learning network of the New York Times. So there is a whole different focus here, but it is done very well. So you've got lesson plans available in different areas. We have our story of today, which is the focus of English language learners and the powers of personal stories. You've got some additional links. And basically, you can see that each week they focus on current news, quizzes that they do, student content, lesson plans and blogs, vocabulary of the day, student crosswords, poetry. So truly you could teach from this and this alone. It's quite good. They also have a mobile site that you can use the Learning Network anywhere. And as I said earlier, for this portion, you can subscribe for free and have access to this whenever you wish. You also can link back to the New York Times, and you can see a portion of the paper for free each month, but you have a limit on how many articles you can read. But if you have a favorite section, that works. So please take some time to read and explore and bookmark this site. Our second site and resource is also interesting and also free. So again, I would encourage you to bookmark it for later use. I've taken you to the portion that is strategies for English language learners throughout the writing process. And this comes from the University of North Carolina, that is a very fine school of education. And this site again focuses on lesson plans, lesson materials, curriculum, best practices, and so forth. So here we are on writing in English as a second language, but if we look on the left, we can go to reading passages for English language learners. And this will take us to another portion with strategies, how to deal with some difficulties. So take a look and see what you think. And finally, I've got a wonderful short video on the Jungle Adventures of Min and Max. And what that is a video that was created by a group of English language learners at a public elementary school in New York City. And you can read and see how the students began. They began by brainstorming, describing a setting, doing a character study, creating storyboards, and doing all kinds of pre-writing activities before drafting the script. Finally, they wrote it, did the artwork, and began laying out the story scene in PowerPoint. They then rehearsed and recorded the dialogue, and finally have this short video. So, would you venture to do something like that with your students? Certainly a long project, but think how worthwhile that would be and how wonderful it would be for students to see their work published in some format. So, that's it for this week. I hope your school year is going well and that you are getting some new insights as you deliver and create these lessons for this class. Take care and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for joining me again.